guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Nayanda back again. It's been a month. I've been really busy. I've been making a lot of music and I really do I want you guys to check that out as much as possible. I have the link to my song in my bio. I have a new single coming out on August 24th called Mean Reds, which I'm not going to take too much of your time to explain that. But if you want to bop over to my other YouTube channel, my music YouTube channel, I'll be a lot more active on there as well. I've been spending a lot of time making content. I'm in front of a camera a lot lately and I don't love it, but I don't love it, but it's okay. It's a necessary evil. But I'm so happy to be back with you guys again. I've been requested multiple times to do pick a card readings, and these are pre-recorded and there will be extended readings available in the bio below. So if you would like to check those out, that information will be available for you. Apart from that, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. So I'd like for you to take a big cleansing breath. I'm corny as shit. And whatever pile you feel intuitively guided to, we're going to be doing advice on your love life. So let's get into it. So for pile 1, we have self-sabotage. Ooh, don't look at my nails. I've been too lazy to go to the nail salon. I don't know why it's around the corner. For pile 2, we have worthiness and live out loud. And then for pile 3, we have betrayal. Ooh, spicy. No fuimo. Okay. So once again, the piles will be they'll be timestamped in the bio below. Make sure that you check that out and I will see you at your respective reading. Okay, so if you are here, then you picked pile 1, which is self-sabotage. Now, obviously, self-sabotage is a message in and of itself. Because typically when you see self-sabotage in advice for love, that means that you have gotten close to what it is that you've said that you wanted, but as soon as you get to what you want, you find a reason to fuck it up. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. I mean that in sometimes we don't think that we deserve things that we want, or sometimes we don't think that things that we want will last. So we tend to, for some people, they tend to look for flaws that aren't there, or you look for flaws that are in yourself, or you convince yourself that, hi sweetie, there's a fluffy dog. And you convince yourself that you're too flawed, or you're not. I always hear people say that, like, oh, I'm not healed enough. And it's like, I feel like healing is a lifelong thing. I don't think that anybody is quote unquote healed. I don't think that anybody is ever like healed. I feel like even when you die, you're not necessarily healed, you know, like if you believe in reincarnation at the very least, like I do. So I'm just kind of like, you know, this is a cycle that we go through over and over and over again. I look at life like a video game where it's just kind of like you go on levels and levels and levels and levels until you die. And then when you die, you start at that same level and then you go up and up and up again. So it's like, I feel like especially when it comes to love, a lot of people do things that are counterintuitive or counterproductive. For example, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was telling him that sometimes people will go gun for relationships that they know aren't gonna last, because then they don't have to worry about, like, if that weren't to work out, like let's say for example that person were to cheat on you, or that person isn't right for you, you don't have to deal with the pain of heartbreak, maybe temporary disappointment, as opposed to like if you were to go for somebody that you do want to be a long-term option and that were to not work out, you would be devastated, right? Like devastated. So some people self-sabotage by going for flings as opposed to going for people that actually are like long-standing options for themselves. Sometimes people self-sabotage by like convincing themselves that like, oh, this person would never want me, or I'm not good enough for this person, whatever the case might be. And there's toxicity in that as well, because everybody's flawed. You shouldn't put anybody on a pedestal to where it's like, this person's perfect and I'm so imperfect. It's like, trust me, everybody's fucked up in their own way. You know, even your dream person has their own ways that they're fucked up. It's like, just because you admire somebody so highly, it doesn't mean that you're so low compared to this person. It's like, you don't know, this person has their own insecurities, their own fears. And also, if you put somebody on a pedestal, that also is unfair to them, because that means when they start showing their flaws, you're probably more prone to rejecting them then, where it's like oh wow, I didn't know that you I'll give you an example for me. I'm a raging bitch on my period. On my cycle, I am a raging bitch. I am the sweetest of sweethearts otherwise, but as soon as my cycle comes around, I swear to God, I am gunning for everybody. And not even just gunning for everybody, I am like very hyper emotional. Like I go up and down like a lot. And it's funny because it's like, I won't get too specific, but it's like, I think that when you first meet me and you consider me this very emotionally stable person, and then you come to find out that I also am very capable of being emotionally volatile. If you have me on a pedestal, it's not fair to me, because then it makes me feel like I can't be human with you, you know, like I'm still a person, you know, I have fears and I have insecurities and I have likes and dislikes, and sometimes I am a little bit off, but so are you. And I think that those flaws should be endearing to the person that you love. Not endearing, they could be annoying as shit, but it's like, I think at least at the very least, I feel comfortable when the person that I'm connecting with feels safe enough to be flawed with me, and know that that's not the end of our connection or the end of our relationship, because it's like, now I know what I'm working with, you know. Show your flaws to the person that you're connecting with. It's okay, because if this person is the person that's for you, they're going to love you beyond those flaws. I'm not saying be toxic or abusive, but you understand what I'm saying, is that the way that we do heal and grow is through our imperfections, is through embracing our vulnerabilities and allowing for somebody to love us anyway. But the message here in your love life, specifically pile 1, is self-sabotage. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the tarot and see what we have. Now, I'm hearing, ladies, leave your man at home. The club is full of bottles and their pockets full grown. Okay, so with that message coming, what do we have for pile 1? With that message coming through here too, you could be or could have been somebody in the past that like likes to party a lot. And it's like, if you've never been in a committed relationship, or let's just say like this, maybe you've never taken anybody serious enough to be loyal to them or to be faithful to them, with self-sabotage being here, it could even be that it's like, you could be like I don't want to say a serial cheater, but like serially single. Does that make sense? It's like you never really commit to one person, or you never really ground yourself in one relationship. It's kind of like yeah, this person's cool, but there could be somebody better. You know, that is another form of self-sabotage. It is. Especially because, like I said, everybody has their flaws and nobody's perfect. So it's like, there could be somebody better. Could there though? Do you really think like there's that many options for you in the world? And I'm not saying that from a scarcity mindset. I'm saying that like, we meet people where we're at, okay? Just take that as it resonates. Some of you guys could go for superficial things in relationships as well. Once again, that's another form of self-sabotage. Like if you're only going for people that look a certain way or dress a certain way, then you're totally neglecting their personality. It's like, well, you look good, or you have money, or you have status, so like, we need to be together, because it'll make, whether you realize it or not, that comes from a place of egotism. It's all about you at that point in time. So it's like, oh, this person wears designer clothes and they're like this, and if I'm seen with them, people are gonna think that I'm like this. And it's like, what ends up happening is that when you connect with people on that superficial level, who do you attract? Superficial motherfuckers. Superficial motherfuckers. What it does look like here for you, pile 1, is that some of you guys might be like this. I keep seeing that game, what is it called? Is it Frogger? Where it's like the frog, it's an old game, but like a frog has to cross the street and avoid these cars. It's like, I'm seeing that being how you've handled, I'm not saying you're doing it now, maybe you are, but in the very least in the past, that's how you handled relationships, where it's like, you enter a very risky environment where you know you could get run the fuck over, but you're just kind of going through it. It's like, you know this person is toxic, you know this person is messy, you know this person is gossipy, you know this person is whatever, but fuck it, like, what, fuck it, we ball, right? And I'm getting here that this self-sabotage could come from a betrayal in the past, where it's like it's easier to jump around than to ground yourself because, okay, I'm back, sorry, I ran out of storage. But anyways, it could have come from a past betrayal where you did put your money on somebody, you did put your trust in somebody, and you did have that mindset of like, okay, we're gonna take this long term, we're gonna make this last, and you were betrayed, okay? And because of that, it's like whether you realize it or not, subconsciously you may have been trying to avoid being betrayed again by just never settling down. And that is also a form of self-sabotage because it's ultimately starting a bunch of short flings. You're gonna experience betrayal regardless because, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing that's set in stone. There's nothing that is in agreement. There's nothing that is established. So it's like if you keep everybody in limbo, that's a specific message for some of you. You keep everybody in limbo, nobody's committed to you, but you're also not committed to anybody else. But then you're going to experience that resentment from other people. You're going to experience those vengeful plots from other people. You're going to experience that toxicity because essentially it's not a real relationship. It's a bunch of situationships. And it's like, at least I'm somebody that like, I don't like dealing with a bunch of people. I don't, because people are fucking messy, right? And then what happens in those situations? There's confusion, there's miscommunication, there's competitiveness, there's arguments, there's heartbreak. Maybe not necessarily from you, but you know what ends up happening. A woman scorned, what hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So you end up getting in messier situations from doing stuff like that because ultimately it's not really making you avoid or helping you to avoid betrayal. It's just you're not actually emotionally invested for if this were to end, for it to matter to you, which is really just trying to fill some sort of empty void, if we're being completely honest, pal one. But I'm not here to judge anybody, just it is what it is. It does seem here like you struggle. Give me a second. There's something about collaborating with another person as well, like working hand in hand with somebody or like equal give and take. Clarity on the Queen of Swords. You could be dealing with an air sign, or you could have air, specifically Aquarius in your chart. You could be, okay, for some of you guys, you could have, your method of communication is very rough as well, and that's also from a self-sabotage. What I'm kind of getting here is that some of you guys might not be the best at hearing other people out when they're airing their grievances. Where it's like you might start arguments. Some of you guys might start arguments to cut people off. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like if things get too serious or things get too committed, or if like, yeah, if people start asking you questions like, where is this going? Like, what are we? You might be prone to like, I'm hearing destroying it. It's like as soon as somebody like tries to get close to you in that way, you start to sabotage it, or you go out of your way to end it, or whatever the case might be. It's really giving me the vibe of like, I'm hearing teamwork makes the dream work. So it's like when you're in a healthy relationship, at the very least, it's like your feelings and your needs are just as important as the other person's feelings and needs. Maybe in your relationship, you constantly, maybe when you have been committed in the past, you feel like your needs have been run over in life, where it's like, it becomes all about that other person. And you might like project that onto committed relationships as a whole. Like I've heard a lot of men be like, oh, as soon as you get married, it's all about the wife. And it's like, that's really depending on, assuming you're marrying a woman, right? But let's say it neutrally. It's like as soon as you get committed, it's all about the other person. Like nothing I want ever matters. I can never go see my friends. I can never do whatever I want again. And it's like, in all sincerity, there are so many different types of people in this world that I promise you, if you actually pick the right person and don't just settle for the first thing that comes along, and that's no shade to you, but I know a lot of people that like the first person that comes along, that's the person that they're gonna go ahead and settle down with. And it's like, okay, but are they compatible with you? There's chemistry at the beginning, but is there compatibility long term? A lot of people function solely on chemistry, like, oh, we had sex, like I can't, it's such an immature mind state, but it is what it is, right? It's like, okay, but like once those hormones calm down, like there's other personality traits that you need to be looking into, i.e., Is this person selfish? Is this person argumentative? Are you argumentative? You know what I'm saying? It's like, can this person have an adult conversation? Are they mature? Are they responsible? Are they consistent? Are they diligent? Do you even like this person for real? You know what I'm saying? When the hormones go down, I promise you, a lot of people you don't really give a fuck about. You don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of you guys might like to stay in that friends with benefits area where it's just like, we're gonna stay in this gray zone in limbo until one of us gets sick of it, and then as soon as I get sick of it, on to the next person, you know? Okay, we're back at the club, we back partying again. Ooh, that person looks good. I'm gonna go talk to that person. And you're functioning solely on hormones. And then like you talk to that person and yeah, they're vapid. This person's not very smart. They got a big ass though. Okay, whatever, we're gonna entertain this and I'm gonna put you in my pocket. And you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it to be shady. I'm just saying like, a lot of people do function this way. It is what it is, right? But yeah, I am seeing that here, but when it comes down to these people wanting to take it further from like friendship to like commitment, you could be really cutthroat or really, I don't want to say mean, but it's like, instead of telling these people frankly, like, you know, I don't see you that way, or I'm not interested in having that, or not with you, you know what I'm saying? And that's the issue with entertaining multiple people. It's like, it's not fair to those people that you're entertaining all of them, because you don't know what's in those people's heads, right? And in the same way that I said, like, some people avoid commitment, I'm hearing avoid confrontation though. But how some people avoid commitment because it's like, oh, I won't get my needs met. That just shows that you're not good at communicating your needs. And then when you do communicate your needs and that person disregards your needs, you don't just leave. That shows a flaw on your end, where it's like, if this person doesn't care about your needs, or if people don't care about your needs, you don't need to be with those people. You don't need to keep everybody around. I would argue you don't need to keep nobody around, honestly, but only people that really do care about you in that way. But that also comes going back from childhood to where maybe you felt like you had to prove yourself or work for approval or work for love. Like, you know, for those of us that grew up without one parent, it's like, or grew up with a parent that was problematic, where it's like you felt like you had to earn a parent's love as opposed to the parent just giving it to you freely. And for that reason, you learned to give and give and give and give and give and give and give without getting anything back. And that wasn't fair to you. What ends up happening is that in your relationships, it manifests as you taking and not wanting to give anything back, which essentially, you know, puts that other person in the position of giving because they feel like they have to earn you, and that's not fair to that person either. So yeah, there's a need to, something about self-sabotage here. I'm feeling like this is more about like being willing to commit when necessary. Clarity on the 3 of Pentacles. This could also be work affairs. I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. Clarity on the 10 of Wands. Yeah, it's almost giving the vibe of like you never fully close the door on these flings either. So it's like everything is in limbo, and it's like you might end up getting with really insecure people who like they cling to you. And you know that that's really not genuine love. It's just that they're trying to fill a void, you're trying to fill a void, and it's just not fair to anybody involved because you're denying yourself the potential of a true, loving, committed relationship. And it's not fair to these people who think that if they do enough, they're gonna get something from you. Like imagine if the roles were reversed, which if you've been through that, then you know how that feels, where it's like, you could be taking vengeance on a past ex with these people, honestly, where you felt like you were with somebody and you were just like, please love me, I'll buy you this, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And then you feel like, I never wanna be in that position again. So you end up putting everybody else in that position instead of you just like grounding yourself and being like, okay, you know what, next person that I entertain, if they don't reciprocate my energy, I'm deading them, and I'm okay being by myself until I find somebody that will reciprocate that energy. Instead of doing that, it's almost like when the bullied person becomes the bully, where it's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna make everybody pay then. Everybody's gonna pander to me then. And I'm gonna sit in this position of power and I can do whatever I want. And it's like, that's just really not a good place to be in, honestly, especially because what ends up happening with shit like that, unwanted pregnancies, unnecessary drama, sabotage, betrayal, you know what I'm saying? It leads to a bunch of drama. And I'm a firm believer that like, if a life is full of drama, it thwarts your accomplishments to a certain degree. It's like you can be living a life of peace, and when you're in peace, you can do so much with that. But you're never in peace because you're always in conflict, and it's like nobody should be that comfortable in chaos. You know what I'm saying? What other advice do we have for pile 1 in love? I hope I'm not offending anybody. Yeah, there's something about you being forced to overgive in life, to where like you sabotage relationships because you're afraid of being put in that position where your needs are neglected. But that's really a matter of communication as opposed to just putting a negative perspective on relationships and commitment in general, because not everybody's experiencing that in their relationships. I'll tell you that. It's not as common as you might think. And we attract people that are in the same place as us. So it's like, instead of finding a good person that actually does care about your needs, which it looks like some of you guys might have. Some of you guys might have found somebody that you do want to establish something with. I'm seeing you wanting to hold on to somebody and wanting to start a family with somebody else. Or not somebody. You found somebody that you want to hold on to and want to establish some sort of family dynamic or build something with. Somebody that you do want to be fair with. So it sounds like if that's what you're going through, so what it kind of gives me the vibe of if somebody that's like perpetually single for a really long time, you finally find somebody that you're like, I think this person is the one, I want to hold on to them, but then you continue to sabotage it. And maybe the reason why you sabotage it, this might be news to you, is because you're afraid of losing yourself in the relationship, you're afraid of losing your independence, but also you're afraid of like being in this position where you're doing everything for one person and you get nothing back. But the reality of that is the only reason why that would happen in any dynamic, at least in adulthood, is from not communicating. So you need to open up and be very clear about what it is that you want, what it is that your needs are. Also not allowing people to be human. You know, like I said, self-sabotage manifests itself in an abundance of ways. But primarily it's like when you're in a committed relationship with another person, that person should be giving just as much as you're giving. Okay, so it's like, it's not like I have to plan, you understand what I'm saying? Like every argument I have to be wrong or whatever. No, everything has to be equal give and take. It's this balance, like this justice card. You get out what you put in. And you need to be able to communicate very clearly what it is that your needs are. If something makes you upset, you need to be able to communicate clearly and maturely why you're upset. If you have a suspicion about something, you need to be able to communicate clearly to that person. And that comes with feeling safe and being vulnerable. So you could be in a situation where you find yourself self-sabotaging a connection because your needs weren't met in the past, but your needs weren't met in the past because you were not sticking up for yourself. So now if you are in a healthy connection, it's imperative right now that you, instead of holding back and getting bitter and acting out with somebody, people can't read your mind. You know what I'm saying? People don't automatically know what your needs are. Don't put yourself in a situation where you are overextending your hand, where you're overdoing it, where you're overgiving it. If you're in a connection with somebody and they truly care about you beyond anything superficial, you should be able to tell them, you know, you did this the other day and it really made me feel bad. And that person is not going to rip you to shreds. That person's going to be like, if they're the person for you or they're a good person in general, like, okay, I didn't know that was happening. Like, can you explain to me? And that might trigger you because it's like, now I got to talk about my feelings more. Yeah, but if you talk about your feelings more, this person is going to be more, I'm sorry, I'm spitting a lot because of my aligners. This person is going to be more prepared from now and on into the future to fulfill that need for you. And there is nothing that you can compare to having somebody genuinely care about your needs, your feelings, and your well-being. That is what love is all about. Love is about being selfless. Love is about being supportive. Love is about being giving, but not in a way that's self-deprecating, not in a way that's like trying to prove something to somebody else. No, it comes from a genuine desire to want to see somebody else happy. And maybe you've never experienced that, where it's like a reciprocal, You do your part, I do my part. I genuinely care about how you feel. You genuinely care about how I feel. I would never do anything to hurt you, because a lot of people are really childish and competitive in relationships. I've noticed that. It's like some people like, oh, this person pissed me off, so now I'm about to do this to piss them off. I'm like, I would never do that to somebody that I love. You pissed me off. I'm gonna tell you that that pissed me off so that we can discuss it, so we don't have to go back there again. Right? That is a mature adult relationship. You don't do the tit for tat shit in an adult relationship, right? That's not how that works. It's just, it's childish. It's child's play, okay? But yeah, so that's the message that I have for you, pile one. In the extended reading, we're going to be going into who is coming for you, or you get what I'm saying. What prospective romance do you have coming in the future? So make sure that you check out the extended reading down below. I will see you next time. Ciao. Hi pile 2, welcome back to my channel. If you are in this pile, then you chose Worthiness and Live Out Loud, baby. I'm excited to see what your message is going to be, so we're gonna get right into it. So, what is the advice that pile 2 needs in their love life? I don't know if it's just because I was sent this song, but I'm hearing Bidi Bidi Bum Bum by Selena. So some of you guys could be Selena, you could be Mexican, you could be from Texas, or you could live in Texas. The person that you're dealing with could live in Texas. Bidi Bidi Bum Bum. I'm also, somebody could be Puerto Rican too, because I'm hearing that. I feel Puerto Rican with his hair, Rican. And then she's like, Bidi 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 Bidi. Have y'all seen that on TikTok? I feel Puerto Rican with this hair. I'm hearing that too. So we have both of those energies coming through here. Ooh, there's something about manipulation coming through. You could be dealing with a Virgo or somebody with Virgo placements. For some of you guys, you're being too guarded. You're being way too guarded. You want to manifest a happily ever after for yourself, but you keep swinging a bat at everybody that comes around that can give it to you. Yeah, there's a message about self-worth here in this pile, where it's like maybe also you're afraid to show your true self, or you're afraid to open up to people in a way where, like, if you don't show your authentic self to the people that you're dating, they can't love you for you. And remember, if you're putting on a facade for a relationship, you'll have to keep up that facade forever. You understand what I'm saying? And eventually when that mask drops, and it will drop, baby, okay? It will drop. It's gonna drop and break and shatter and all that shit, okay? You're gonna have to deal with the real them, and they're gonna have to deal with the real you, okay? Masks didn't come out for you, pal, too, but like I'm getting the energy of like somebody that like tries to morph themselves into the person that they feel the other person wants, or, excuse me, or conversely, that you are trying so hard to guard your true self that like you don't let nobody get close to you, okay? I am getting that here. For some of you guys, you could be in a secret relationship though, and maybe you want to be open about this relationship. There's something about that coming through here too. And you could be secretive because you're protecting it. That's also, we'll get to the message here. Can I have clarity on the message for pile 2? You could be dealing with a Leo here, or have Leo placements in your chart. Okay, so I feel like, I'm not saying I'm talking to a man, but it's giving masculine, like very, somebody in this pile either is connecting to somebody that is like very hyper masculine, or I'm talking to a man, okay? If I'm talking to a man, okay, I just want to get this out of the way. You are a man's man. Does that make sense? It's like you're giving tough, you're giving in control, you're giving protective, you're giving a hard worker, you're giving all that, you can have a business. You're giving leader, okay, baby? You could also be part of the LGBTQ community. I do see that here. That's why I said like it could be anything, okay? But somebody in here is like macho man, but like what ends up coming with that is specifically if you are connecting with either a woman or somebody that is more feminine, is that for you to be able to enjoy a relationship with this person, you're gonna have to open up just a little bit more emotionally. And this is something that I spoke to with somebody that I really care about, like last year. We were talking about how people talk a lot of shit about men and like their lack of emotional intelligence, but it's like they're socialized that way. It's like every child has emotions, every human has emotions, but with men and boys very specifically, a lot of them are taught, what is in my mouth? A lot of them are taught from a very young age that like boys don't cry. That's a song from The Cure, Boys Don't Cry, okay? If I remember correctly about that song, look up the song Boys Don't Cry by The Cure, because I also feel like that song is about somebody who ruined a relationship with somebody that they genuinely cared about. And it's like they have to tough it out because it's like I have to tough it out because boys don't cry. It's like something like that. Hold on. And now I'm hearing Just Like a Dream with The Cure. So some of you guys could be reconciling with somebody that maybe you guys separated in the past. I'll read you these lyrics. 1979 is crazy. But it says, I would say I'm sorry if I thought that it would change your mind, but I know that this time I've said too much, been too unkind. I tried to laugh about it, cover it all up with lies. I tried to laugh about it, hiding the tears in my eyes, because boys don't cry. So essentially, for some of you guys, you could be trying to reconnect with somebody that you really genuinely care about, but maybe there could have been some sort of argument, some sort of disagreement that led to a separation, and it's like you're struggling to open back up to this person because it's like almost like, for some of you guys, it's just kind of like you're not a man of many words. If you are a man, you know, it's like I'm not somebody that has these deep, like heart-to-heart conversations. You know, we're just gonna get straight to the bread. I heard to the bread, I'm sorry. We're gonna get straight to the point, we're gonna whatever. And it's like, you know that if you're gonna connect with whoever the person is that you're connecting with, that you're gonna need to open up emotionally to this person, and you're afraid, either you're afraid of this person crying or you're afraid you might start crying, or it's like there's something about needing to be able to open up emotionally to truly be able to enjoy the love and the romance that you genuinely want. For some of you guys, you might be the kind of person where it's like if there's a conflict, you would rather just let it die. Like the relationship is over and I'm not gonna open up about nothing. And it's like, it's almost kind of like it's something about you associate that with masculinity, but that's not necessarily about manliness. It's more about pride, right? It's like you could be like, well, I'm not talking about my feelings because I'm a man, and it's like men talk about their feelings, that's fine. And also remember that we're trying to raise a new generation of men where you don't feel like you have to swallow everything down and you could be beaten up by the world and like nobody cares and it's just me out here and I'm this lone wolf, especially if you're trying to connect with a woman, okay? Especially if you're trying to connect with a woman, because if you're trying to connect with a woman and you are a man, right? Women need you to tap more into that soft side, just in the same way that if we're talking about a homosexual, hey, some of you guys might be dealing with another man though, I will say that, or you're two girls, whatever the case might be, whoever the person is that is in the more like masculine, like I ain't doing all that stance, needs to be able and willing to open up. You know, sometimes people, I'm sorry for talking from a heteronormative state, but it's like, that's what I keep hearing. It's like, where it's like a man's duty is like, I pay the bills, I protect the family, I provide, and then I do whatever. What the fuck you want to talk about feelings for? And it's like, well, this isn't the 50s, right? Like, we're not in an arranged situation. It's like, this is a love situation. And it's like, if you want to be in a healthy reciprocal connection, then you're going to need to also fulfill the emotional needs if you're dealing with a woman. If you're not dealing with a woman, but you're dealing with somebody that is just more emotional than you have to be able and willing and able. I want to emphasize that point, willing and able to open up emotionally. We're not saying you have to open the floodgates or like let her like comb your hair, braid your hair and shit. It's just kind of like understanding that whoever it is that you're connecting with, they're a lot more emotional than you are, or not even more emotional, but more emotionally expressive, but I almost said suppressive. And what you don't realize, what ends up happening is that when you're somebody that kind of withholds all their emotions and you're connecting with somebody that's a lot more emotionally expressive, you're not making them feel safe to open up their emotions to you. So it's like, what ends up happening when you feel like a certain need isn't being met, you start to build up resentment, you start repressing shit. And it's like, well, if I talk to them about this, then they're gonna get mad, or they're gonna shut me down, or they're gonna say that it's not important. And think about it this way, like, do you really want the person that you love and care about to think that you don't care about how they feel? You know what I mean? That's not a good feeling. Put yourself in that person's shoes. How would you feel if it happened the other way around? And I can guarantee you, if you're dealing with somebody that's emotionally expressive, this person probably is like, you're probably getting a lot of your needs and validation met, because they're probably somebody that's packing it on with the I love yous and the hugs and the kisses and the cuddles and the I'll do whatever and blah 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 blah, right? And it's just like, you're getting your cup filled, but like, don't you want to do that for this other person? A lot of people, in fact, I would argue most people, are not solely satisfied with a roof over their head and food in the fridge. It's like, those are very basic, rudimentary needs, right? But for most of us, in fact, I would argue for all of us, our emotional needs are, I want to say, like right above that. I'm trying to think of, is it Maslow's hierarchy of needs? I'm gonna look that up now. Yep. Psychology education coming through. Anyway, so yeah, so the bottom of the pyramid is physiological needs, so food, housing. The second one is safety, security, so health, employment, property, family, and social ability. The third one, and it's a 5-tier system, the third one is love and belonging, okay? The fourth one is self-esteem, and then the fifth one is self-actualization. So right there in the middle, the most important need, and I'm not saying that this is like a black and white thing, like whatever, but it's like, it is a pretty good reference to go back to in terms of like us as humans. And it's like, whether you were raised to be really rough and tough or whether you're a softie, you know, we all have these same needs. And it's almost kind of giving the vibe of like, you're more concerned, I feel like I ate crackers, you're more concerned with that first fundamental need. It's like, I'm providing this, right? It's just the money, the house, all of that. That's what I do. But it's like, okay, but if you're connecting with somebody and they're asking you for more than that, this is where I was talking to somebody last year, and I was telling them that a lot of, specifically men or people that are more masculine minded, they feel under threat when you ask them to open up emotionally. Either one, because they associate emotions with not being masculine or not being manly, or two, and this is a big one, they got bullied relentlessly for being emotional as kids. Either way, it triggers a sort of like visceral reaction that I think a lot of people don't understand, that that's more often than not what they're dealing with when you ask somebody to open up emotionally and they won't do it. Not because they don't care, but because maybe, okay, it's one of two things, hold on. Either one, you asking them to open up emotionally is making them feel unsafe. Not everybody understands what triggers them. Or two, and this is a big one that a lot of people don't want to accept, they don't fucking like you like that. I'm not saying that to be insensitive, but if you're coming here and you're asking about somebody that refuses to open up to you emotionally, you need to also assess as to whether their other behaviors are saying that they like you like that. But that's a caveat. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but for the people that genuinely do like somebody and like you do want this relationship, just showing up and being present is not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough. It's not enough for anybody, not enough for you or for that person. Because if all that was necessary for a relationship to be happy was for one person to pay the bills and one person to cook the food, do you know how many marriages would be successful right now because that's all that they were doing? And think about this, when you're doing something out of obligation, it doesn't feel the greatest. Like for me, I love to cook and to clean. I'm okay with that, but when it's expected of me, like, no, this is your duty. It's like, no, I like to do it out of a place of love. Like, oh, you're working your ass off, like day in and day out. Like, let me contribute in that way, not because that's my place and I owe that to you and like I don't, that's not coming from a place of love. And it's like, I would even argue a lot of men, although they are raised to be providers or whatever the case might be, a lot of them resent that, because a lot of them, it's like, why are you putting all that pressure on me? Why do I have to be the one that gives all of this and does all of this for other people? Why can't somebody do it for me too? And some people want to call that sassy. I think that's a fair human assessment. You know, some men love it. Not every single man is wired that way. Some men love it. They're like, yeah, I love working and making sure that like my mom is good and my girl is good and my kids are good. And some men are like, can you help me out? Like, and you just gotta kind of go with the people that you flow with. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna keep going though. I feel like I said a lot. I don't know why. Like I said, I have to go with the messages that I get, so it's cool. But let me see. Clarity on this for pile 2. Yeah, there's something about needing to open up and communicate, especially if it comes to somebody. You could be dealing with a Scorpio here. Heavy Scorpio. If it comes to somebody that you really, really care about, it's like, And in the extended reading, we're gonna find out who you're going to be meeting romantically soon too. So make sure that you check that extended reading out as well. But it almost looks like the final like icing on the cake to seal the deal with whoever or whatever it is that you're doing is just to communicate your emotions, communicate your needs, like say what it is that you want with this person or what, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and be willing to open up emotionally. You don't have to become like a whole bushy gushy, you know, it's like, but in your own way and the way that you feel comfortable with, express your emotions. And it's like the person that you're dealing with also needs to be okay with the fact that maybe you're not the most mushy gushy. Maybe the way that you communicate or your love language, bitch. Maybe your love language is different, but you have to be aware of that. Like, just because your language is different does not mean that this person needs to accept. Like, for example, it's like, if my love language is words of affirmation and quality time, and your love language is giving gifts, right? If you don't give me those words of affirmation and quality time, and you're just throwing money at me, I'm not gonna be the happiest, because I'm not a materialistic person. I would much rather, even if it's like 5 minutes, call me, you know, say something nice, whatever. You don't have to, it doesn't take much, at least for somebody like me. It's like, I'm an overthinker, so I'm gonna need you to tell me like, oh, I miss you, or I care about you, whatever like that. Like, I'm really good on that. But for me, it's like, although I appreciate gifts, I do. It's like, I'm a lot more, I wouldn't even say that quality time is one of my love languages. I would say that it probably is, actually. But it's like, I also like to spend insane amounts of time alone. But regardless, it's like just being able to spend whatever time it is that I have with you, or to be able to have a conversation or whatever, just to know that you still care. Like, that's what matters to me. Throwing like gifts at me and just being dead silent does nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, me specifically, I'm not a materialistic person. I'm not. But if I know that your love language is receiving gifts, oh honey, I'm tricking out. Like, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you need, or if your love language is act of service, even if that's not mine specifically, if that's what you need, and I notice that that's what makes you feel fulfilled in our relationship, I'm gonna make your life so fucking easy without you having to ask, because I'm anticipating that. So it's like, I'm kind of getting the energy of somebody that's anticipating that their partner or somebody that they care about has a need from them, but they're struggling to give it. And that need might be to express how you feel about them, or to open up a little bit more emotionally. And like I said, you don't have to change who you are as a person, because if you are in a relationship with somebody, this person knows who you are, right? It's like, they know that you could be a person of few words, or a man of few words. It's like, they're aware of that. But if you could just a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Could you make a little bit of time, or could you soften up a little bit? Like, could you try a little bit harder in that aspect? Because sometimes we tend to, when we're not comfortable with something, we tend to catastrophize and to be hyperbolic and be like, why are you asking me to do all this? It's like, I just wanted a 5-minute a text message. Just hit me up and be like, hey, I was thinking about you, just wanted you to know. All right, talk to you later. Trust me, you can do that, right? But it's like sometimes when we're uncomfortable with something or something is new to us, we tend to like shoo it away, you know? And like I said, specifically when it comes to people that are raised more masculine ended, where it's like, if you were somebody that was an emotional child and your father was like, be a man about it, or man up, or like, men don't do this. It's like, well, now your entire identity is in question when somebody you love is like, can you talk about your feelings with me? And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And for some people, and this is another fair thing to say, some people don't know how they fucking feel. Especially if you're used to not addressing your feelings, some people are not aware of how they feel until way after the fact. And it's like, you know, I think that actually did upset me. And it's like, you know, somebody's pressing you like, how did you feel about that? And it's like, I don't really know right now. You know, I just kind of reacted. I just kind of did whatever. But just even to communicate that, given that the person that you're connecting with is capable of receiving that information, right? It's like, hopefully you're dealing with somebody that is emotionally mature, just mature in general, to where you can have an adult conversation and it not spiral into an argument, because you need to be able to be in a situation where you feel comfortable expressing your needs, but also where you're capable and comfortable with somebody else expressing their needs and fulfilling those needs. You'd be able to find a compromise between both. Like, let's say that you work a lot, like you work in all around the clock, and it's like you don't see the person that you're with that much, right? And this person's like, I really wish you would call me. And you're like, well, I don't have the time to dedicate to a phone call today. However, I can shoot you a little text message or something like that to let you know that I care when I do have time. You know, for those people that, imagine you're working as like a crabber or some shit, or like you're working in some place where like you don't have reception or you don't have access to technology like that for extended periods on end. It's like, whenever you do get the chance or anything that you can do, send something back. Even men that went to war back in the day, they would send letters back to their loved ones. It's like, find a way, a compromise that works for the both of you, okay? So that's the message that I have for you, because it's been 20 minutes. If you'd like to check out the extended reading below, we're gonna go into who it is that's coming into your life romantically. And thank you so much for coming to my reading otherwise, and I'll see you next time. Ciao. All right, pile 3, I just woke up from a nap. Don't look at my hair. Channeling is actually a lot more energy than it might seem. It's easy to burn out fast, but I have nothing but time right now, so I'm trying to be as productive as possible. So thank you again for tuning in. We're gonna get right into your reading. So if you're in pile 3, then you picked the card Betrayal. Now, unfortunately, this is not the best card to pick out to feel drawn to, but we'll see where the reading goes. But in terms of like giving love advice and like what you need to know about your love life and how to kind of go from here, either this is pertaining to a current betrayal or it's pertaining to a past betrayal. But the illustration is showing Anansi. Now, Anansi is a West African, I want to say, let me not say shit because I'm gonna sound ignorant as fuck. Is it the Akan tribe or is it the Ashanti? I don't know, but I know it's a West African. Let me not shoot myself in the foot. But anyways, he's known as what a lot of people refer to as a trickster spirit. A lot of people misinterpret the term trickster spirit. They tend to like, oh, it's something deceptive, whatever. You can't really look at these energies through a Christian lens, and that's not offensive to any Christians that are out there. But when it comes to esotericism, there are different meanings that are associated with these entities. So a trickster spirit is typically a spirit who teaches you a lesson by means of some sort of discomfort. So it's almost kind of like a lesson that you need to learn like the full scope of what's going on by kind of getting led into something that's not the most favorable and getting yourself back out of it, or being led into something that's unfavorable so that you can see the true colors or the true nature of what it is that's going around you. Now, Anansi, Anansi is a spider, or at least he turns into a spider. Now, it's a feminine energy on this one because we're using a goddess deck, but from memory serves me right, Anansi is actually a masculine energy. For some reason, I'm feeling called to say that you might have been led into a web of lies, or maybe you got caught in a web of lies, whether that is from you or from another person. Once more, we're going to get more into that. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee at like 7 o'clock. Whoa, buddy. But whatever it is that you're being led into, I'm also being like drawn to a ball in her hand, which it's like, it's kind of reminding me of a crystal ball, to where it's like you're gaining foresight from whatever this betrayal is, or whatever it is that you were led into. And this is going to help you in the long run. Hopefully, if you begin to notice these patterns. I'm hearing something about patterns in the future. I'm hearing something about self-worth as well. Some of you guys might have been accepting treatment that you did not deserve, or maybe your self-worth was allowing you to accept treatment that you did not deserve. I'm being guided to tell you, for some of you, and this isn't meant to sound harsh, okay? How do I word this? Your own sense of self-worth will determine what it is that you choose to tolerate when it comes to your relationships and in love, okay? I'm gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna keep pushing forward. Now, at the end of this reading, there will be an extended reading as well available in the bio below. That will also be talking about who will be coming into your love life soon. So be sure that you check that out also. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for pile 3, what is the advice or the message for pile 3's love life? So yeah, there's definitely some sort of argument, some sort of conflict that either is happening or has happened. Coming from some sort of, you could be dealing with an Aquarius, or you could have Aquarius placements. You also have Gemini placements as well. Something has either been brought to completion, or there's some sort of burden being laid to rest. It's like, maybe you were, let me see, clarity on the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands to me is like finishing some sort of like, it's like some sort of task coming to completion, or something coming to completion, but in terms of like taking an action, right? Like wrapping something up rather. Clarity on the Knight of Swords. It's like something might have happened very quickly that might have caught you off guard. You could be dealing with a Virgo. We have Capricorn and Leo here as well. So you might have been rushing into something, you were confident about something, but it was coming from I'm hearing something about a codependent place. It's almost kind of like, remember we're talking about the spirit of Anansi, so it's almost kind of like all is not as it seems anyway, but you're rushing into it. And there might have been signs prior to you rushing into it, or while you were rushing into it, that this is probably not the connection that you should be pursuing. Clarity on the 5 of Wands, and it's like something might have blown up in your face that's leading to a lot of anxiety. Maybe you're trying to hide this anxiety because you had a lot of feelings for somebody. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, and something is coming to a close now. For some of you guys, I'm getting the need to let go of someone, or the need to let go of the idea of something. It's almost kind of like, have you ever been in one of those situations that are like so clearly toxic, and it's like, but because you invested so much energy into it, or the idea of it, sometimes it's like the idea of a person is better than the actual reality of being in a connection with that person. Go to pile 1 actually, because pile 1 was drawn to pile 3 in the extended. So maybe these two have something to do with one another. But in pile 1, we were talking about like entertaining very superficial connections and trying to manifest them into becoming something more than what they actually are. And of course, when something is very superficial, there's no depth to it. There's no profound emotion. I'm being brought to the word limerence, okay? So it's kind of, how do you describe limerence? Limerence is when like you have such a strong idealization of another person that's not connected to reality. And that person, the biggest thing about limerence is this person's not reciprocating. You understand what I mean? It's like this person's not reciprocating. You're just like really, I don't want to say obsessed, but it's almost kind of like obsessed with the idea of winning this person over. Whereas you might be like totally disregarding how they're acting towards you, totally disregarding the signs about how they truly feel towards you. It's like, let me look up limerence because I don't feel like that's the textbook definition. I have my laptop here. I've been doing a lot of research on these readings, bitch. But whenever I think of limerence, I think I'm almost being led to say unrequited. That's what I kind of want to say. It's like, it's giving like unrequited, where it's like, okay, so the definition of limerence is the state of being infatuated or obsessed with another person, typically experienced involuntarily and characterized by a strong desire for reciprocation of one's feelings. Okay, so this definitely kind of gives the energy of someone who may, and I hate to say it this way because this is the opposite energy of pile one, okay? So pile one had the energy of the person that like drew people in that they knew would like cling to them, but they didn't necessarily feel attached to them at all. It was just kind of like I come to get a certain need met and I bounce, okay? For you, pile three, you sound like you're on the opposite end of that, where you're the person that clings on. To, for lack of better terms, nothing. I don't mean for that to sound insulting, because obviously when it comes to betrayal, heartbreak, anxiety, it's like, whether there was something serious or substantial or not, it still affects you emotionally, right? But it's like the biggest thing about limerence or unrequited, it's not based on anything. So it's like you could find yourself getting attached to people that like you know very well in your head that this is not somebody that is attached to you, right? And this comes from a self-worth wound. It's really what it sounds like to me is a wound of self-worth, where it's, and I think I talked about that in pile one as well, where it's like for example, if you were ever a child or something happened in life where you felt like you had to earn your parents' love instead of your parents just naturally giving it to you, right? Where it's like you had to prove yourself, like, oh, mommy, look at this painting I made and she doesn't care like that. Or, oh, dad, look at this thing that I made and your dad doesn't care like that. And you're constantly trying to get that approval and get that attention, to where now that manifests in your romantic relationships, where it's like somebody's not reciprocating or doesn't give you that energy, and instead of you being like, oh, well then I guess you don't like me, let me bounce, you're like, oh, let me try harder, let me go harder, let me do, if I go harder, if I give more, if I do this, you're gonna like me back, right? And that's just not the case. If somebody likes you back, pile three, they're gonna show you that they like you back. They're gonna reciprocate, they're gonna call back, they're gonna plan things out with you, they're gonna be really sweet to you, they're gonna do all of the things that somebody that likes you back does. You accepting anything less than that is more of a statement about how you feel about yourself as opposed to this person, especially if I'm hearing something about gift giving. So like you could be trying to buy this person's love, or I don't really know about that. It gives doing too much. You know, I'm leaving messages and voicemails telling you I miss you, baby. You might want to look up that song "Doing Too Much" from Paula Deanda, because what'd you say? Got me all alone, sitting right here by the phone for you to call me just to hear your voice tone. I keep on wondering if this was even meant to be. Sorry, I just woke up. I have not warmed up. No, I keep on wondering if he was even feeling me. So it's almost kind of like she's like begging him to pay attention to her, and he's not paying attention to her. Oh, baby girl, like, what are you doing? Like, stand up. Like, and that's not to sound insulting, because, you know, obviously we've all been there before. It's a very common thing to expect. I'm a firm believer that it's like you have to go through something to learn the lesson, right? And that's the whole concept of anansi, right? It's like, I'm gonna lead you into the situation, and you're gonna have signs that you can leave whenever you want, but it's like you're gonna get to a point in the situation where it's gonna blow up in your face. That is the nature of a trickster spirit, where it's like you claim you want something, okay, I'm gonna show you, is this really what you want? And that's how these trickster energies work. They manifest, or they teach lessons through chaotic means. That's why a lot of us alchemists and stuff like that, when it comes to trickster energies, we'll just leave that alone. That's a topic for a different day. But yes, so it does look like there's some sort of conflict. Like maybe you were trying to rush a relationship with somebody, or you were trying to bring something into fruition, and maybe you got stopped like right in your tracks. And I'm seeing somebody like laying down in bed a lot. If you look at this Four of Swords, like there's 4 swords above her, but she's laying down with her hand on her head. I'm getting something about a hangover, like you could have a hangover right now, or somebody could be drinking a lot, but it's like, it's almost kind of giving the vibe of somebody trying to fight for a relationship that never existed, or fight for somebody that never felt anything for you. And that's actually kind of sad. But once again, this is coming to a matter of self-worth on your end, pal 3. Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety going on. Let me see. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, I'm leaving messages and voicemails telling you I miss you. Baby, am I doing too much? Why you trying to diss me when I just wanna kiss you? Baby, am I doing too much? Tell me what's the issue, who I give these lips to? What does he say? Just leave your name and number and I'ma holla at you. So you could be calling somebody and they're not answering the phone, or this could have been the nature of the relationship, is you like chasing and chasing and chasing, and like nothing was being responded to. It's giving unrequited, pal 3. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Clarity on this 3 of Pentacles. You could work with this person. Yeah, it's like, it was given the vibe of like, if I try harder, because we have the 4 of Cups, and the 4 of Cups is rejection, like disinterest or apathy. It's like, whoever this person is that you're trying to manifest, they weren't interested in you like that, or not in that way. Clarity on the 7 of Pentacles. It's like, it's definitely giving the vibe of like trying to convince or cajole somebody into wanting to be with you, but those feelings were never there. You could be dealing with a Capricorn here. And it's almost like I said, limerence. It's like obsessive. And the thing about the Devil card is like, these people are very loosely bound. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in this life that you are permanently bound to unless you have kids, right? And it's giving like the idea of like, you could have left the situation whenever you wanted to. You could have left the situation as soon as it turned whatever. But it's like giving the idea of like, oh, if I do this, you're gonna like me back. If I do that, you're gonna like me back. If I do this, you're gonna like me back. If I do that, you're gonna like me back. And it's like, instead of taking the signs like of whoever this person is, or maybe it's a pattern for you, like whoever these people are, when they're not reciprocating, to be like, okay, you clearly don't like me like that. You might be filling in the blanks and being like, oh, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's really hard and it's really painful for us to accept rejection, right? Where it's like sometimes it's easier to convince yourself of something different than what it is. I'm a Pisces moon, I'm Delulu, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, Pisces, I think, is exalted, or Venus is exalted in Pisces because Neptune is a planet of romance, right? I mean, if we take it traditionally, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, which is optimism. But unfortunately, when it comes to optimism, it's like that has to be centered and balanced in realism, right? So it's like, if you're talking to somebody or you're entertaining somebody romantically and they're not reciprocating that energy with you, instead of convincing yourself that, oh, this person still likes me, or if I try harder, they're gonna respond, or if I push more, they're gonna whatever, it's like you taking responsibility and being like, okay, maybe this isn't for me then, or this isn't the person for me. Like, do I want to be in a relationship or in a connection with somebody who not necessarily doesn't treat me well, because I think that sometimes people don't want to be mean, if that makes any sense, where it's like you're showing such high signs of attraction and obsession to where it's like they don't want to hurt your feelings, so they're kind of trying to, sometimes people will drop off in hopes that you'll let go. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I've noticed that guys do this a lot, where it's like they don't want to hurt your feelings or anything like that. So it's like the sign is in the behavior. So it's like I'm not answering your calls or your text messages, or I'm not addressing this, or I'm not reciprocating, so that hopefully you let go. It's like I don't feel like, if I'm doing all of that, why are you gonna make me have to come to you and tell you that I don't fuck with you like that? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what it's giving. It's giving the energy of like, I'm gonna try harder, and I'm gonna push harder, and I'm gonna show more, and I'm gonna do more, and I'm gonna do more. And then it's like, no. And I don't know what happened between you and this person. I'm going to ask. This could be even a boss of yours, but anyways, but let me see. Get the betrayal card in the beginning. Yeah, somebody, I'm hearing left on red. Somebody might have, ooh, okay. Pile 3, somebody might have been real cutthroat with you recently. This person could have a family already, or they could already be in a happy connection with somebody. There's some sort of rejection, but whoever this person is, they're coming across as, with the Chariot and the King of Swords, like they're like very clearly telling you to move on is what it's giving. It's like, maybe this person was hoping that you would get the hint eventually. Like, if I don't talk to you, if I don't respond to you, if I don't engage with you like that, then hopefully you're gonna catch the hint, right? Where it's like, I don't wanna have to be mean. You know, some people don't wanna have to be mean, Pile 3. Because if I'm not giving you any hints or signs that like I'm feeling you in that way, I don't know why I have to go through and have this conversation with you to tell you like I don't like you like that. You know, why I don't want to put myself in that uncomfortable position. Now, I'm gonna add this caveat, okay? If this person was stringing you along, which that is also a possibility. Now, I'm not sure if I see that here. Let me see. How is this person acting toward Pile 3? If this person was stringing you along, that's a totally different story, okay? Okay, hold on. Okay, a lot of cards flew out just then. Okay. Wait, hold on. Went like this. Okay. Okay, so you know how this person was acting around you, Pile 3, okay? Because I'm getting a lot of nuanced messages here where it's like this person might have not been the most forthright. So it's kind of like, oh, just leave your name and number and I'ma holla at ya. It kind of gives the vibe of like, okay, like, yeah, I'll hit you back eventually. Yeah, Pile 3, I don't really care for this energy. Especially because it kind of gives the vibe of like somebody who might already be in a relationship. And it's like, they might have started this relationship without you knowing, Pile 3. And either they just didn't go back and tell you, and then they were just kind of like, which I would understand the betrayal card now, where it's like they could have started a whole relationship with another person, or they could have been in a relationship for a while now, and it's just kind of like they kind of left you hanging there without saying anything, and you might have been like contacting this individual, like thinking like, oh, because, but even with that, Pile 3, I don't know, because like I said, when it comes to betrayal, it's a sensitive topic, but it's almost kind of given the vibe. You might want to check out Pile 1, because whoever you're dealing with sounds like Pile 1, because it almost kind of sounds like this person had a lot of options and you were one of many options. And this person might have, I'm hearing settled down. They might have decided to settle with one person, and maybe they just didn't, this is gonna sound fucked up, Pile 3, I'm sorry. They didn't feel like it was necessary to go back to all of those options and be like, to every single one of you, like, hey, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I got somebody, or I have something else going on. Because it's like, it could be a lot of drama with that 5 of Wands. It's just kind of like, how many arguments do you feel like dealing with? It's like, I'm gonna tell this person, that person. Mind you, that's the reason why I don't personally believe in having a roster, but that's just my business and my choice. you know, everybody dates differently, right? But it gives the vibe of you were one of many options. You were one of many options, pal 3, and you might have thought it was deeper than what it was, but really this person was entertaining multiple people, and you might have found that out in a really harsh way. Okay, anyways, you might have been one of many options, and then this person, they were kind of, you know, spinning the block, and it does give the vibe that they did commit to one person specifically. So now it's just kind of like, okay, I'm not, out of loyalty or whatever, I'm not talking to all of these other people anymore. And you might not have known that, and they didn't tell you that, and then it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's what I have for you, pal 3. Let's go ahead and get some final messages, and then don't forget to check out my extended reading below for who you will have coming into here. Cause you know, good things. You're gonna look at good things. Okay, so what advice do we have for pal 3? I'm hearing you're tiring yourself out. Don't tire yourself out. Some of you guys could be like, I'm hearing like demanding an explanation, or like trying to, I don't really know. Don't start arguments with somebody just to keep them around. I will say that, pal 3, because that is coming across here, where it's like a continuing to pester this person, trying to get answers or whatever, because it's gonna tire you out, right? It's like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. You don't need to keep pushing it, you know? I'm not saying that to be an asshole. I'm not saying it to be insensitive. I'm just saying it because, you know, I've been there before, and it's not fun to constantly be trying to run somebody down, or trying to, I don't really know. It's like, because it doesn't sound like there's any rhyme or reason. It's just like you have this truth bomb come out. That's really all you need. You know, like, it's all you need. You don't have to, clarity on the 7 of Wands. I don't know why I'm getting this, like, I'm seeing somebody like texting this person or pestering this person and trying to look for signs like, oh, do you actually like me still, or did we have something deeper than that, or did it, you know what I'm saying? Clarity on the 9 of Swords. It's giving that kind of an energy, because it's like you don't want to let go of this individual, but this individual, it's their behavior is making it abundantly clear, okay, pal 3, that they're not into you like that. Clarity on the Ace of Swords. Yeah, you might be trying to pester this person for more information, but yeah, there it goes, trying to stall something. The Tower card. Yeah, but like, you might be thinking like, oh, you need to explain something to me, but really you're just trying to like extend the situation longer so that you can still connect with this person. And you don't want to start coming across as like desperate and messy. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a certain measure of self-respect. You don't need any answers, okay? If this person doesn't want to be with you, then just leave it alone. Like, leave it alone, respect yourself, and just move forward, okay? But that is the message. God. That's the message that I have for you, pal 3. I'm sending you mucho cariño, amor. Do check out the extended reading for who you do have coming into your love life soon. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Ciao.